My name is Maryanne. I'm an alcoholic. And I have done the work as it's laid out in the book with the help of a big book step study sponsor, God of my understanding, and many meetings. I have finished all my formal amends, and I do practice 10, 11, and 12 on a daily basis. So there's so much here. I could go in about 20 different directions, and I hate choices, so we'll see how it goes. All right, so I know last week they talked about the allergy, which is the physical component of the alcoholism. And today, more about alcoholism, we're talking about the psychological symptoms. So right away, at the very beginning, they're talking to us about illusions and delusions and insanity. That comes up right away. So what's the importance of that? Well, the importance of that is that if I don't understand those two things, first the physical part and then the mental part, then when I get introduced to the hope and the solution and the next steps, I'm not going to be able to be available to them because I haven't accepted the fact that I am powerless and insane. So if I can't accept that I need help, then no matter what anybody offers me, I'm not going to take it. So that's why this is the first step is a foundation step. And I have to really, it says in here over and over again, I have to smash the idea that as an alcoholic, I can ever pick up a drink or a substitute in safety. There's always going to be consequences. And they go ahead and give a couple of examples of that happening to, real people in real time. They were X many years ago, but all this information has come from people's experiences, not just from theory. So that's how they learned that, and that's how they got this information together, and then they put it all together for us, so that I can learn this through not only my experience, but also through information that I can get, so that I don't have to get as bad as some of them did. I mean bad, I mean seriously ill, is what I mean, not morally. It's not a moral issue. So, I think this chapter is summarized, I think the best way for me to summarize it was on page 34. It seems to be, this is the baffling feature of alcoholism. Baffling, I looked that word up, and that means confused, bewildered, or perplexed. So this is the confusing or the bewildering feature of alcoholism as we know it, as they experienced it. This is this utter inability to leave it alone, no matter how great the necessity or the wish. So that's my unmanageability there. Now, when I first came in, I was able to see that when I was drinking, my life that affected my life, and that made my life unmanageable. I was able to see that when I was drinking, I wasn't showing up for work, I wasn't getting paid, I couldn't pay my bills. All those things were happening. I couldn't make those connections. So for a long time, until I started doing the work in the book, really, embarrassing to say, probably 27 years, but nonetheless, I did stay sober during that time, so I'm grateful for that. That's my connection. When I'm drinking, my life is unmanageable, and if I don't drink, I'll be okay. And that's where I was at. I'm understanding that a little bit more now. My life is unmanageable, according to what I'm reading here, is because I have no ability to control my thinking when it comes to drinking. Okay. So it gives all kinds of descriptions in the book, in this chapter. What page is that on? 37, I think. On what they're talking about. So they call it the strange, there's 13, I counted 13, there might be more. Strange mental blank spot, the foolish ideas, serious mental twist, curious mental phenomena, strangely is insane, peculiar mental twist, lack of proportions, subtle insanity, that state of mind, this sort of thinking, mental inconsistencies, queer mental condition, plain insanity. Those are all the words from this chapter that they're trying to describe to us how our thinking is screwed up when it comes to, well, I've learned now it's screwed up in a lot of things, but especially around alcoholism. Okay. I don't have to worry about all the other things till I get to 12, because then I have to do this in all my affairs. But right now I'm just doing it around the alcohol. Okay. So, and I need to do it around the alcohol, because the more I understand how affected I really am, I come into the program not because I thought I had an alcohol problem, because I had a problem with the people I was drinking with. I didn't like their behavior. Okay. So that brought me to Al-Anon, and of course I'm showing up to Al-Anon high. And they said, if you really want to learn about alcoholism, why don't you go to some AA meetings? They were very kind and very gentle. So I did, and I stayed long enough. It took 2 years. It takes longer when you come here and you're still doing drugs. Okay. So I smoked my way to the meetings. I smoked my way home to the meetings. Okay. So it took 2 years for me to finally hear what they were saying. But I did finally hear it, thank you God. And that I can't, that I have a physical allergy, so my body's going to react differently. I have no power over that at all. Okay? And when they wrote this, it's not a zillion years ago, I tend to exaggerate, 70 years ago or something like that, science hadn't found a way to help us alcoholics not be allergic to it. And still, in this day and age, X many more years later, they still haven't found it. I don't know that they're spending a lot of money looking for that, but they haven't found it nonetheless. So I'm always going to have a physical reaction, and I'm always going to have that insane thinking that I'm going to ignore the fact that I have an allergic reaction. When we really think about that, it's really a death sentence, really. There's just no way around it. So, I mean, that we're sitting in this hall is really a miracle and an amazing thing. Really is, because the thinking around me wanting to be able to drink and drug like I want to and not have any consequences is so strong that it, I had a laugh on this guy, the one that put down the drink, when he realized that if he drank, he couldn't be successful at work and drink at the same time. So he put the drink down so he could go to work. Well, I came to that point too. I realized I couldn't drink and drug at the same time. I quit my job. So I give him credit. I give him credit for that. Okay. So, but because that's the insanity of it. The insanity of it. I'm not going to let anybody tell me what to do. Nobody knows what's going on with me. No, I have the right to do what I want to do. I'm a grown-up now. I can do whatever I want. That's my thinking. And I surrounded myself with other people that thought that way, and they drank like me. And if I could possibly do it, they drank worse than me, because then I didn't look so bad. And that's just was our life. It became our life. It was every day, all day, if we could manage it, if we had enough money or other things didn't interrupt us. And that's just how we were. We just, whose house we're going to go to today? Whose house we're going to go to? Oh, so-and-so can she sleep on the couch? Can this one do that? You know what I mean? We just banging around and thinking everything was okay. So I didn't come here because I thought I had a problem. I told you I had a problem with the other people I was drinking with, but I came here nonetheless. And what I thought was I wasn't that bad, because I was comparing myself to people that were drinking worse than me. My disease doesn't want me to connect or talk about my drinking or talk about the effects, because in order to do that, I have to come here and identify. And my disease does not want me to identify, it wants me to keep comparing. So that I always can find somebody's story that's worse than mine and proves that I don't have a problem. But when I get that bad, I might do something about it. Of course, when I got that bad, my mental health is not as healthy as it was. It's getting worse and worse, and so all of a sudden that bad doesn't look that bad to me. I can remember being so upset when someone taught me how to smoke a joint. I had never smoked anything in my life, so it was a process. I did a lot of choking, a lot of coughing, a lot of my stomach swelled up because I was swallowing it, not smoking it. But I hung in there. I hung in there, okay? And I learned how to do it, and I thought in my head, well, it's okay, I'm in my 20s, so I'm old enough to smoke, but I don't like it when they give this to the kids. If I ever found anybody that would give it to kids, I don't know what I would do, but I would do something, okay? So here I am, X many more years later, in some apartment up off of Clarkson Street, and who brings in the pot but a 10-year-old kid, okay? And we were out. So guess who we were smoking with? All of a sudden that was down the tubes. That final, if I ever get that bad, I'll do something. It's gone. It's gone. It's just gone. We all know how sick we get out there. We all know that. Do things we don't want to do things we're ashamed of doing, but we do them anyway, because we have to do them, because my head tells me I deserve a drink. And if I have to do this to get a drink, or if I have to experience this to get a drink, or if I have to forget this to get a drink, I have to make believe this is okay to get a drink, I will get a drink. So the good news is that I did get sober, which is definitely the grace of God, and many meetings and people like you that would come and were sober and would share their stories, so I could eventually hear. And that this is only the first step. This is the bleakest, awfulest looking first step, because we have to look at the pain and the misery, but then all the other steps are full of hope and give us some direction and tell us how to stay sober a day at a time. And if that wasn't it would be enough. But it isn't it. It brings us to a life beyond belief, really. I've accomplished things. I don't mean like on the physical level, monetary, I certainly can take good care of myself now. I can pay my rent, and I can, I don't have, people that I can't go there because I owe them money and all that kind of stuff. I don't have that anymore. But it's more the internal things for me, the things that I've been able to show up for and handle, painful things, difficult things, very emotional things, deaths in my family, difficulties in the family where people weren't getting along and they weren't talking and they were fighting, and I didn't have to get involved in any of that, and I was able to kind of stay neutral and not get caught up in all that dynamics. And so, and just being able to get through my life. We all know that, this world is very difficult. There's all kinds of painful things happening at all times, whether I'm aware of it or not. And I have to find a way to negotiate that and to be able to hold on to my sense of self and my sense of wholeness and my sense of connection, both to the program and other alcoholics and to the God of my understanding. So it says, this is the most important thing, I always have it start, that spiritual principles would solve all my problems. Okay? And the alcoholic at a certain time has no effective defense against the first drink. And what are those certain times? Those certain times are when I'm spiritually bankrupt. Those certain times are when I'm not practicing the principles of the program, when I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing during the day, when I'm not in the moment and I'm not being honest and I'm not I'm not being honest. If I'm not being honest, then it's pretty shitty. It's pretty shitty. It's just, everything goes downhill from there. everything goes. If I'm not being honest to myself and I'm not being honest to the other person I'm in the moment with or the situation I'm in the morning with, it's all downhill after that. The good news is there are other ways I can fix that when that happens and I notice it, but I try not to do it because I don't hate to make amends. So anyway, I don't want to get off too far because there's going to be other people coming and talking about great things. And I see the audience and I know they have great things to share. Thank you.